Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtapraheshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation, text number 58 onwards. Machitta sarvadurgani mat prasada tarishyasi tatha chetvam ahankaran shroshyasi vinankshyasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not duly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego or the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material perplexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So here Krishna is clearly saying there is no, he didn't leave any even speck of doubt anywhere. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace, not by your own efforts, by my mercy, by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego means bodily conscious, means thinking you are all in all, means you can do whatever you want to, and you will become successful. Not hearing me, you will be lost. Lost in this material whirlpool of birth and death. So it's so easy. Passing over the obstacles of conditioned life and going back to Krishna, we have to become conscious of Krishna. We just have to become conscious of Krishna's presence, Krishna's hand in everything that we do. And knowing Krishna's position, when Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna, and other places he talked about himself. Knowing that Krishna is my best friend, and the position of Krishna is so great, no matter what I do, he will help me. Not no matter what I do as a devotee, we don't do anything nonsense anyway. So whatever I do, he'll help me. And whatever I think is not happening according to my desires, I should have full confidence that actually it is happening according to Krishna's desires. There is no question of any insecurity or any lamentation. And Krishna being my most intimate friend, he'll definitely look after my comforts. He'll definitely look after me. I just have to give myself completely. Just have full faith in Krishna and surrender and give myself completely to Krishna in Krishna's hands. Just like A great example is given when a father, when he's playing with this little baby, and he sometimes he throws the baby up in the air. The baby is laughing when he's up in the air. He's not crying. He has no fear that I'll fall down. And then father catches him when he comes down. He has full faith in his father. And mother, like, uh, because I play around with babies a lot. And suppose I'm playing with somebody's baby, and I'm trying to tease him or something, trying to scare him, and the baby runs towards his mother. Full faith that mother will protect me. Full faith. Even though maybe it's a real danger, and suppose somebody is attacking the baby, and the mother is all very little, she physically she can't protect the baby, but the baby will still run towards the mother, knowing mother will protect. That is faith. That kind of faith, that kind of surrender, that kind of relationship we have to have with Krishna. And here Krishna is saying to Arjun that whatever obstacles you think you have, I'll take care of them. Just do whatever I say, whatever I tell you to do. And what will happen otherwise? Yad ahankaram ashutya na yotseti manyase mithyashvevsayaste prakritastam niyokshati. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. And first of all, your nature is to fight. You are a Kshatriya. But you don't want, if you don't fight according to my directions, you will be falsely directed because you will end up fighting anyway. So fight according to my directions. Arjuna was a military man and born of the nature of the Kshatriya. Therefore, his natural duty was to fight. But due to false ego, he was fearing that by killing his teacher, grandfather, and friends, he would incur sinful reactions. Actually, he was considering himself master of his actions, as if he were directing the good and bad results of such work. He forgot that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present there, instructing him to fight. That is the forgetfulness of the conditioned soul. The Supreme Personality gives directions as to what is good and what is bad, and one simply has to act in Krishna consciousness to attain the perfection of life. No one can ascertain his destiny as a Supreme Lord can. Therefore, the best course is to take direction from the Supreme Lord and act. No one should neglect the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the order of the Spiritual Master, who is a representative of God. One should act unhesitatingly to execute the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will keep one safe under all circumstances. So Arjuna's thoughts were, oh, if I fight, I will not be happy, I'll be incurring sin. Those are the arguments that he gave in the chapter number 1. And here Krishna is clearing his doubts and telling him, you fight because it is my order. And if you don't fight thinking it's just listening to your mind, then you'll be lost. You'll be completely lost. But this is a dilemma we all have. That, okay, for Arjuna, Krishna was there to guide him. And Krishna showed him his universal form. Krishna showed him what is he. He basically told Arjuna what is he, who is he. So Arjuna had faith. Now what? Krishna is not there for us. Prabhupada has explained that Krishna's words are there in Bhagavad Gita. But we don't have intelligence to understand Bhagavad Gita. So that's why we have to have a bona fide spiritual master. Now, who's the bona fide spiritual master? Again, Prabhupada has many times given different qualifications. One qualification is he should come in a parampara, and then he should not mix up or add or subtract in the message of Krishna coming down from the parampara. So, so even then, because we are, either we can say we are naive or we are ignorant, fools, we still have hard time figuring out who's a real guru. It's not easy. Even though Prabhupada and Prabhupada's books are established that yes, they're the perfect. Still, when we study these books, when we listen to Prabhupada's instructions, we still make mistakes and we still act according to our consciousness. And that's also true. That's also going to happen because Prabhupada's words are absolute and we are going to interpret according to our consciousness. So walking and making progress on this path is not that easy. Prabhupada says surrender unto Krishna. We don't know how to surrender, how much to surrender, where to surrender, and what does surrender mean anyway. Should we just give up our household, give up our family life and go live in the temple? But that doesn't mean we are surrendered. Living in the temple is not a guarantee or a prerequisite for surrender. Because Prabhupada's books, many times Prabhupada said, you don't have to leave anything, you just stay wherever you are. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said that. So the best course in this case I have found is, so we try to follow the basic instructions of Prabhupada. Chanting of 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles, and whatever, reading, hearing, service, association, and let the surrender grow slowly, slowly along with our consciousness, growth or purification of our consciousness, of our realizations. Let it all grow organically, slowly, slowly, slowly. Instead of jumping into it that only this lifetime I have to go back and then we mess up everything, all the relationships, our lives, we disturb everybody around us. Let it grow smoothly, let it grow organically, let it grow slowly. With faith, with full faith that Prabhupada will take care of me. And Krishna, through Prabhupada, will take care of us. We should not have this doubt. So that is, well, again, you will say that, you can say that, well, this is your interpretation of Prabhupada's instructions. Yeah, well, yes, it is my interpretation or it is my realizations. It's your way. I have found this is the best way to go instead of jumping into it. So we are not trying to neglect the orders of Srila Prabhupada or Krishna. We're just trying to take it slowly according to, like if somebody has a fever of say 103 degrees, 104 degrees, it's not possible that all of a sudden his fever will come down. So he just takes medicine, he avoids certain kind of food, he takes rest, and slowly, slowly his fever will come down. It's not if the doctor has prescribed one tablet and if he thinks, oh, I'll take 5 tablets and my fever will come down immediately and I'll get back to work. Not going to happen. Body can only assimilate whatever it can, whatever it's designed for. So similarly, our consciousness, our intelligence can only assimilate to a certain degree, and we cannot imitate anybody else. Everybody has its own pace of making progress. Everybody has his own starting point from whichever point they started in this life and wherever they left last lifetime, we don't know. So we cannot imitate anybody. So no question of being jealous or envious of anybody else either, because everybody has its own pace. We just have to work on our own, our progress, our purification, our surrender, our determination, our sincerity. So we should um, let it grow steadily, smoothly. That's all. Text 60. Swabhavajena kaunteya nibaddha sven karmana kartum naichasi yanmoha karishyasva vasho api tata. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. If one refuses to act under the direction of the Supreme Lord, then he is compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. Everyone is under the spell of a particular combination of the modes of nature and is acting in that way. But anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of the Supreme Lord becomes glorious. So, see, we have to act under our modes. We all are born in our modes. We all have acquired whatever different modes of nature we have. We cannot change that. There's no way we can change. Modes are very, very strong. All we have to do, being under those modes, we can still work to serve Krishna. And slowly, slowly, slowly make progress. Ishvara sarvabhutana hrideshe arjun tishtati brahmin sarvabhutani yantra runani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Arjun was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or he himself, Krishna, as a localized supersoul, sits in the heart directing the living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds, but the supersoul, as a knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all his activities. Therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by this supersoul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the supersoul. As soon as a living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high-speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car, though the living entities, the drivers, may be the same. Similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse. Very nicely explained by Krishna. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So the body is a kind of a machine, yantra. It's like a machine. And the living entity, the super soul, the soul is a driver. And the super soul is directing the driver. But the super soul is not directing on its own. Super soul is directing according to the desires of the driver. So this soul, which is in this body right now, maybe it was in some animal body or some insect's body last life. Super soul was still there, but the driver was given a different car at that time, according to his karmas or desires. So now it's given a different car. And we all are driving our own cars based on our material modes of nature, whatever car we got. And accidents are happening wherever they are happening, and everything is happening by the direction of the super soul. Just like in dengue season, now not that everybody gets dengue, gets affected. Everybody gets bitten up by the mosquitoes, but not everybody suffers from the fever. Why? Because the super soul is sitting in the heart of that dengue mosquito. And he guides that driver of that body to go and bit somebody. And then according to the karma, that person gets sick. Because the dengue mosquito must have bitten other bodies also. But their immunity system is good. They don't have a bad karma, so they don't get sick. But the dengue mosquito is directed by the super soul in his body, and according to his desires, well, the desire of a mosquito body, he doesn't have his own desire. He's all directed by the super soul. We have the desire in human body. We have this independence. But then super soul is directing that dengue mosquito to go and bit this particular person at a certain time, certain place, and then this person gets sick. So everything is controlled, actually. Nothing is beyond the control of the Lord. So Prabhupada says, therefore one's duty is to surrender. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction, the next verse. So instead of having our own program of desires that I want to do this, even while trying to become devotees, we have our own desires, material desires as well. They are there. There's nothing to be ashamed of. They are there. All we have to do is, again, as I said, let it grow, let Krishna consciousness grow organically in our hearts. So we have to keep on working on ourselves, on our purification. Instead of acting like we are very pure devotees, we don't have any material desires. But inside we know I have all the desires in my heart. And I'm not saying we should only work towards satisfying the material desires. I'm not saying that. But the desires are there. And we should engage ourselves so much that those desires slowly go away. But even if they don't go away, at least they should not bother us. We should be satisfied with whatever we get by Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's mercy, and spend more and more time in service of Krishna. But depending, everybody has a different situation, different atmosphere, different family conditions, different other conditions. So instead of fighting with everybody, instead of creating a bad atmosphere at home, so that nobody is in a peaceful state of mind, that's not good for bhakti of anybody. if I think I can create an atmosphere like this, and still I think I can chant and peacefully and live peacefully, it's not going to happen. Because if I create a negative atmosphere, the negativity of members in the family, that will definitely disturb me, even if they don't speak anything or they don't act. But just the negative feeling in the hearts, in the minds of the family members, it creates a negative atmosphere, and then everybody will have to live through that negativity. Just like in Africa, there is a tribe, and when they have to cut down a tree, they don't use the tools to cut down. What they do? A few members of the tribe, they sit around that tree and they curse that tree. And they just give negative thoughts to that tree, big time negative thoughts every day. And slowly, within few days, the tree just dies and falls down. So much can happen just by giving negative thoughts, projecting negative energy. And similarly, so much can happen by projecting positive energy, Krishna conscious energy, and just forget about positive. If you just better than positive is Krishna conscious energy. So, so that is a real way of living. When Prabhupada said, "Live with Krishna," householders should have Krishna in the center. It's not the deity of Krishna. Yes, it also means the deity of Krishna in the center, but it means that Krishna conscious vibration should be the center of the household, or that should be the center of all our activities. That should be the center of our relationships, even at office or in family members or friends. Krishna consciousness should be at the center. The thoughts of pleasing Krishna, serving Krishna together. Somebody can say, "Oh, it's very hard, Prabhu. I mean, I cannot change somebody else. I can only work on myself." True, we cannot change somebody else, but at least we work on ourselves to that we should give out positive thoughts, Krishna conscious thoughts. That we should develop positivity from our side. Once I was listening to Shivani Didi, and a wonderful example she gave that there was a suppose there is a village and there is a pond of dirty water, and everybody is there and they are still using the dirty water and everybody is getting sick. So one person decides to make that pond clean. So every day what he did, and that's all he could do, was he took out a bucket of water, dirty water, and fill in with a bucket of milk. Everybody was laughing. "What are you doing? This isn't liquor. Where did your bucket of milk go?" Nothing. It just merges in the pond of dirty water and becomes dirty. But what will happen if slowly he keeps on doing that? One day, some change will happen sooner or later. And what if two of those men start doing that? Three of them start doing, 10 of them start doing, all of them start doing that. One day the pond will be clean and it will be filled up with milk. So this is how our mind also works. If everybody, suppose in our family or in our relationship or in our office association, everybody is materially motivated, and everybody is. But if we start giving the positive vibes, we do our work. We don't get influenced by them. That is why it is said, no, we don't take association from materialistic people. It's not that we don't deal with them. It's not that we don't sit with them or talk to them. We don't take it as association. Association means to get influenced by them. So we have to give them our association. So we have to put in our bucket of milk, and the pond will get cleansed sooner or later. And even if it doesn't, even if maybe some situation change and we have to leave that association, but we did our work and our mind remains clean, positive. So this is what we have to do. Bring Krishna in the center. Krishna's deity, Krishna's service, Krishna puja, Krishna katha, Krishna consciousness. If we bring it in the center of our household, of our dealings, of our friendships, of our office, everywhere. Even if just like in our office, we cannot openly talk about religion or God. It's a big no-no in America. Okay, but positivity cannot be negated. Positivity cannot be ruled out. I can choose to be positive, to remain positive in no matter what situation. That always helps. So that comes when we are strong in our sadhana, when we are fixed up in a reading and in the services. So that is why Prabhupada has given this whole program of chanting chanting minimum 16 rounds. Mahaprabhu, even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, chant 64 rounds every day. So slowly, we have to try to come to the level of chanting 64 rounds. If not every day, then few days a month or few days here and there if we can. That's great. And I know this Kashyap Prabhu, he's been posting on this group his score, and if we can learn from him, how he chant so many rounds in such a little time, that'll be great. But again, quantity does matter, yes. It's very important because from quantity comes quality, but quality also helps. If we can really sit down, concentrate, and chant good rounds, that helps. So that's how slowly we surrender. Arjun was in a different situation. Arjun was already Krishna conscious. He is an associate of Krishna. So for him to surrender in 48 minutes, because that how long it took for Bhagavad Gita to be spoken, it wasn't a big deal. But for us, it will take long time. Text 62. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. Ocean of Bharat, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. A living entity should therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, and that will relieve him from all kinds of miseries of this material existence. By such surrender, not only will one be released from all miseries in this life, but at the end he will reach the Supreme Lord, Supreme God. The transcendental world is described in the Vedic literature as Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Since all of the creation is the kingdom of God, everything material is actually spiritual, but Paramam Padam specifically refers to the eternal abode, which is called the spiritual sky or Vaikuntha. So they see Krishna clearly saying that's why chapter 18 is a conclusion, a perfection of renunciation. His surrender, and by his grace you will attain transcendental peace in the supreme eternal abode. So peace is very much required. We have to work, and especially when we are completely disturbed in this material world. And one that receives not just the peace, it's a transcendental peace, and reaches the supreme and eternal abode. Both happen at the same time. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishta. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So, this recommendation that one should surrender unto the Super Soul sitting within means that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjuna as the Supreme. He was accepted in the 10th chapter as Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Abode of all living entities, not only because of his personal experience, but also because of the evidence of great authorities like Narada, Asita, Deval, and Vyas. So Arjuna has already accepted him because his realizations, and then he said, and sages like Narada, Deval, Vyas, they had accepted you, so I'm also accepting you. So accepting him as Supreme Personality of Godhead means that we should follow his instructions. Otherwise, what's the mean of accepting him? The Supreme Person means we follow his instructions. So if we do, then peace and reaching his supreme abode is not impossible. Very easily done. Text 63 now comes. Actually, I feel this is one of the most important, if not the most important, one of the most important verses. Iti te jnanam akyatam guhyad guhyataram maya vimrishyatad asheshena yathechasi tatha kuru. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. The Lord has already explained to Arjuna the knowledge of Brahma Bhuta. One who is in the Brahma Bhuta condition is joyful. He never laments, nor does he desire anything. That is due to the confidential knowledge. Krishna also discloses knowledge of the Super Soul. That's also Brahman knowledge of Brahman, but it is superior. Here the words Yathechasi Tatha Kuru, as you like, you may act, indicate that God does not interfere with the little independence of the living entity. Very beautifully said. Yathechasi Tatha Kuru. Do as earlier. I have explained to you everything, whatever you wanted to know, whatever you asked me, and still Krishna is giving him independence. And not just independence of whatever he wants to do, whatever he wants to believe and follow, in whatever philosophy he wants to follow. That is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. There is no force. Nobody is forcing anybody. And nobody should. If Supreme Lord himself doesn't force anybody, no, this is the only way. This is my way or highway. Highway to hell. If you don't follow this, you'll go to hell. Yes. He says that. But still, it's a matter of choice. Why? Because serving Krishna is with love. Love and devotion. And love cannot be forced upon. Love has to come from within. If somebody forces me to do something, it will not be love, and I will not be doing it lovingly. I'll be doing it grudgingly, and the moment I get to run away from that, I'll be the first one to go away. So that is not love. So basically, what we have to understand, Krishna is giving us options of wherever we have choice, wherever we have some authority, some control, we should also give choice. We should try to give all the knowledge, all the logic, and give prashadam, or whatever we can. But we have to understand each and every soul is independent. We cannot force anybody. We can only be the well-wisher, pray to Krishna to change their heart, but at the same time, we cannot force anybody. And at the same time, we have to remain positive. We have to remain Krishna conscious. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has explained in all respects how can one elevate his living condition. The best advice imparted to Arjuna is to surrender unto the super soul seated within his heart. By right discrimination, one should agree to act according to the order of the super soul. That will help one become situated constantly in Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Arjuna is being directly ordered by the personality of Godhead to fight. Surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in the best interest of the living entities. It's not for the interest of the Supreme, it's for our interest. Before surrendering, one is free to deliberate on this subject as far as the intelligence goes. That is the best way to accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such instruction comes also through the spiritual master, the bona fide representative of Krishna. So again and again, Prabhupada is coming back to surrender, surrender, surrender. So that is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. But again, just like Krishna gives the independence, Krishna gives the option. We have to understand every living entity is at a different level. And also, we tend to act out of our love or our concern for them. But at the same time, suppose another example that I've heard is a doctor gives the prescription to a patient. Now the doctor is healthy and he himself goes for a jog. Suppose he goes for a jog every morning for maybe for 1 hour. And he gives a prescription to the patient that, okay, you take this medicine and you should go for a jogging every morning for 1 hour and then drink some juice and eat this kind of food and you will get healthy very soon. Patient comes back in say 15 days and his condition has improved but not that much. So doctor asked him, so did you do as I said? Yes, doctor, I took all the medicine the way you prescribed. Did you go for jogging? Yes, but I could not jog for 1 hour. I could jog only for 10 minutes every day. Now doctor gets angry. Why? You're not following my instructions properly. You're not surrendered. That's why you're not getting okay. But the patient's capacity is to only jog for 10 minutes. Doctor's capacity is 1 hour. Patient's capacity is 10 minutes. What could he do? If he jogs for 1 hour, he might just fall down and maybe die or hurt himself more. So similarly, we give solution to others based on our capacity, based on our mentality, consciousness, viewpoint, without understanding the other person might be at a different level, maybe lower, maybe higher, maybe equal, who knows? And similarly, if I think I can imitate the doctor, I'll get healthy, maybe not, because I have my capacity. So everybody has his capacity. Everybody is at his own level. So his progress will be different. Instructions are absolute. How to implement the instructions, that's up to us. Jogging is good. How much jogging? That we have to see. What is good for me? So if like Prabhupada towards his last time as we explained earlier. He drank only some charnamrit, 3 months. He didn't eat anything. If we imitate him, where would we be? We cannot imitate him. It's like Prabhupada wrote in his books, we cannot imitate Haridas Thakur, chanting 3 lakh names every day. We cannot. We just have to understand and follow the instructions. Okay, chanting 16 rounds is bare minimum. That's what Prabhupada said. But more than that, we can go do whatever we can. So even surrender, even other parts, we have to do our best, but we cannot imitate anybody. That's all. So Krishna is giving independence, or giving Arjuna some room to think and act accordingly. So just like that, Krishna is also giving us room, but he is clearly telling what is best for us and what is not. The surrendering is best. How much to surrender, how to surrender, that is practical application. That is different for everybody. So based on that, we have to understand that everybody in our household, everybody in our friend circle, office, they also are independent. So they can, they will also make progress based on their situation. We just have to guide them lovingly. That's all. That's how we set a good example, very good example for everyone to follow. Just like Prabhupada set the example himself. Very lovingly and very compassionately, he changed the hearts of his followers. So anyway, I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It appeared as if you have opened up our skull, went deep inside the body, and picked out everything. In fact, it was such a reflective class, Prabhuji. In fact, thank you so much.
Thank you, Baba. I tried.
Yes, I agree. It was a very wonderful class, Prabhuji.
It appeared as if you are going deep into our heart and picking out everything and
Yes, true.
laying it in a table and showing it to us. Thank you so much. So much.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Mata.
But somehow, Prabhuji, in my case, in fact, now towards the end, when we are approaching the end, in fact, not sure whether it's my contamination or my sinful reaction. In fact, I tend to be kind of understanding that little more now than whatever endeavors you made in the previous chapters. So it appears to me that, in fact, now that desire becomes more stronger, that I should go through the entire Bhagavad Gita session maybe a couple of more times.
Bhagavad Gita is amazing book, because every time we read it, new meaning comes out. Because by the time we complete one reading, next reading, the realizations are different. The consciousness is different. So new meanings will always come out. So we can read it as many times as we want. No problem.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one I have a question on when you say, like everything is regulated by Lord, right? And uh, the desire is the biggest culprit, because if you desire for something, when you are living in a family, you desire for something like your kids get good education and lot many things, you should live a good life and all those things. But if you leave them if you leave all of these things and you just think that, you know, everything is on regulated by Lord and he will take care of it. He will take care of each and everything as per the requirement. I mean, and just in case if it's the whatever, you know, up to the level of the desire which we are looking for, if it's not fulfilled from Lord, then also it's still okay. Like we say, no, जैसी प्रभु की इच्छा. So could be possible, अच्छे के लिए हुआ तो हुआ, नहीं हुआ तो still okay. मतलब यही destiny थी, ऐसा ही हुआ. So do we, तो डिजायर जाना प्रभु जी, इट्स अ बिग डील. वो जाता नहीं है, बिकॉज व्हेन यू लिव इन अ फैमिली इट टेक्स बहुत टाइम, इट्स हेल लॉट ऑफ टाइम इट टेक्स टू, यू नो, जस्ट suppress all kind of desires. And just one thing always to remember कि Lord करेंगे, he will do everything, every good thing for us, because he is father, so he'll do all the good things for us. So ये लाना प्रभु जी, it's lot of you know practice, and वो practice से ही होगा, and it takes a lot of time. What's your opinion on this, प्रभु जी?
Well, you said many things. First of all, yes, living in a family, we have the desires. That's why I always say, let your bhakti grow organically. Organically means what? Means we don't just get rid of desires all of a sudden. We will be disturbed. Surrender slowly, 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 slowly. Meanwhile, have the desires, but at the same time understand that I have to work, but the results are in Krishna's hands. Effort is in my hand. Efforts I have to put in, my efforts. My kid has to go to better college, or I have to provide money for my sons and daughters' education, or their settlement and careers or lives. Effort is in my hand. Result is in Krishna's hands. So that is when we say, Jo Prabhu ki ichha. Well, yes, that is also always going to happen. But the effort is mine. Without my effort, we cannot say it's Prabhu ki ichha, it's my ichha, not to put in the efforts. And Krishna as father, Krishna as friend, he'll always do the best for us. Definitely means he will not let us, if we are depending upon our surrender, ye yatham prapadyante, he says in second chapter, as one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. So based on our surrender and based on our faith in him, he will act according to as our friend. If we surrender only 1%, we'll have only 1% of his friendship. 99% will be from Maya. So then we cannot blame it on him. We are not surrendered, so what is he going to do? So it's a long journey. It's a long process to become fully surrendered.
Yes, प्रभु जी, because practice से ये तो आ गया, you know, like कि प्रभु की इच्छा जैसी होगी अच्छी, बार बार बीच बीच में आती है कि, you know, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि किससे ही होगा, और धीरे धीरे fully surrender होना पड़ेगा. We'll have to be fully surrender. वो भी देखना है कि have we already surrendered or not, वो भी check करते रहना पड़ेगा. क्योंकि अगर desire keeps coming, then you will feel कि नहीं अभी नहीं हुए हैं, still the desire is keep coming. तो
ये इंट्रोस्पेक्शन तो हमें अपना खुद ही करना है.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Prabhuji, it is something not related to any, Bhagavad Gita question. Just a simple inquiry. You must have read the post posted by Vishal Prabhuji yesterday about his deeper perspective of life.
Mm-hmm.
He has posted one, his own, that is his own kind of feeling, which he has shared in the group. The same post he has actually shared in the other group, where I have been recently added by Radha Prabhuji, Gurudev's disciple, senior disciples group.
Mhm.
So when he has posted this post on that group, somebody from that group has asked him that why this post has been posted here. This is a complete nirvishesha shunyavadi philosophy. So does it mean that are you meaning that we need to read Shiv Purans? And then after clarifying his doubts, because Vishal Prabhu mentioned that I have no idea about what is Shunyavadi philosophy or Mayavadi philosophy. This is just not a copy paste post. This is what I have felt I have shared. Including that, I mean, his sharing, you must have read that. He must have, I mean, he has shared that we should read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he has mentioned Shiv Puran. So I became like little surprised to see the kind of questions sent by other devotees. Like he is completely new, and recently he has been added to this group. So many of us are not aware about what is Mayavadi philosophy, Shunyavadi philosophy. Some of us are still worshipping um, deities or any other form of deities apart from Lord Krishna. So then, after explanation, Vishal Prabhu has exited from that group. I don't know what he felt, but can you please explain? Because there is no harm reading, I guess, Shiv Puran or any other Purans, Vishnu Purans or any Puran, if we are equally following the Krishna consciousness. That I feel. Please correct me how to respond in such cases, like how to really make somebody understand. Because I didn't personally, I didn't find that really a proper manner to ask a question to Vishal Prabhu the way the other Prabhuji has asked. So I wanted to exactly know, because how come one new person, if somebody is completely new and somebody is trying to know more about Krishna consciousness, and the person is already a worshipper of other, I mean, demigods or Lord Shiva or anyone. So does it really mean that he has done some sinful activities, or he is not really a devotee? How will you, I mean, give your feedback
Um,
on?
as you said, he posted on our group also. Somehow, maybe
Yes.
I missed it. I didn't read his post. But reading his earlier post about chanting, where he says that he prays to Lord Shiva to give him the strength to chant, and he gets the strength. You see, about Shivji's position, we have discussed in Bhagavatam also. His position is very distinct and unique. Shivji acts as a demigod also. He acts as a Mayavadi guru, as Shankaracharya, and he acts as a Vaishnava Sampradaya guru also. He has his own Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya.
Yes.
Now it depends on us, how do we approach Lord Shiva and how do we understand his position.
Okay.
For that, one has to be little mature. That's all. Lord Shiva is a Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, means a Param Vaishnav. Now, do we approach him as Vaishnav? Do we approach him as Shankaracharya, who came as Mayavadi Guru? Or not just a guru, he's a founder of that Mayavad philosophy.
Yeah.
Or do we approach him as a demigod who gives all the material benedictions? It depends upon us.
Okay.
So, so that's why looking at, he is chanting Hare Krishna and he is very enthusiastic, and he says, I'm talking about Kashyap Prabhu, that he says ultimately it's all Krishna's name, that is the supreme. So if he gets some impetus from Lord Shiva to chant Krishna's name, I didn't find it anything wrong in that, any offensive. Ultimately, he's chanting Krishna's names.
Yeah. So
And who
while
am
reading,
I? And who am I? I am not at the level of a guru or a big acharya to shun anybody or ostracize anybody. No. All I
Yeah,
can
because
do is based on, I'm sorry, all I can do is based on my experience and my limited intelligence, I can help him. That's all.
yeah, because I also read the whole message. I mean, there I find like equally we should know other shastras also. It is, I mean, Prabhupada said everything, whatever his philosophy is very highest, and we should all come under the shelter of Lord Krishna only. Everybody knows that. But those who are not following Krishna consciousness, who is following other deities, they are still not aware about it. Maybe they, I don't know how they are reading the Gita. Gita itself says everything. But if someone is slowly and gradually trying to go one step higher, and in between, if a senior devotee will directly point out like that, the other person will in fact feel not motivated. Simply the way he has exited from the group, I just found it like, how do we need to really make a new devotee understand that that should not be the way, I guess, the way directly putting a question that do you mean that we need to read Shiv Purans? So my question is like, I myself have a doubt here that it is okay. It is mentioned that we should need Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Apart from that, we have 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads. So, does it? I mean, is it wrong if we read all the scriptures and get the knowledge from them also, or we should not completely read at all because?
ऐसा सवाल है माता, पढ़ना तो सारा चाहिए टाइम में तो.
There's another complication. See, if you were given Bhagavad Gita from say Swami Chinmayanand, or there's so many people have written commentaries. I tried to read. Once I was in a train going to Ludhiana, and my co-passenger and fellow passenger, she was reading from Swami Chinmayanand, because seeing me in dhoti kurta, then she took out her Bhagavad Gita and she was reading. I just asked her to, can I borrow and try to read? I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand anything. One paragraph I read, I didn't understand what he's trying to say. So that's another problem. We won't be able to understand anything.
Right.
Even if you read Vedas, where's the commentary on the Vedas? Who has written? I don't even know. I don't even see a proper commentary anywhere. And the Sanskrit shlokas, I'm not that intelligent to understand Sanskrit shlokas. So similarly, other Puranas. So that is why for us the safe way is to read Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada explained everything. But at the same time, like you were mentioning, we should not become fanatic. That's where my problem is. We should be sticking to Prabhupada, but not by becoming fanatic. That leaves a bad taste in the mouth of others.
Actually, I have experienced that yesterday. Reading that comments, I felt like that somehow it looks like a fanatic kind of
approach.
So for me, kind of,
that's what
and
I'm
Prabhuji,
against.
And I think Prabhuji, you and Radha Prabhuji are doing a fantastic job there. And at least in our case, we have seen, in fact, many times you read such fantastic commentaries from Shivani Didi as well, without any hesitation and without any kind of inhibitions that the class is being recorded. So I think we are blessed to have your association. And to that, Mosmi Mataji, in fact, I had the good fortune of going with Vidur Prabhuji for a yatra, and I think we went to Kedarnathji as well, which is Shivji's temple. And I could recall, in fact, I learned a lot. That was the initial days when I joined ISKCON formally. And I think the way Prabhuji guided all of us, and in the bus as well, there were Matajis and all who were kind of asking why were we not singing Lord Shiva's kind of bhajan and all. And Prabhuji is so kindly, in fact, yes, we should. And the way you kind of guided us in Kedarnath, so that actually opened our eyes. And in this group, that is why, in fact, so fondly, I would say, cultivated by Radha Prabhuji and yourself, Prabhuji. So we are indebted. And I think that is when, in fact, gradually we are also learning at times, in fact, because of my association. In fact, I also tend to feel the same urge at times. This is my word, that is my word, without even understanding. Then
Yeah.
I don't even know anything. Zero will be even a higher marks.
Mhm.
Negative is will be an appropriate mark for my knowledge in terms of the things that I know. And I think that is where we are so thankful to Prabhuji that you explain to us in a way that it actually opens our heart and restricts us from kind of going haywire.
True, true.
And Radha Prabhuji, in fact, once had corrected me in this group itself. So what happened was I had posted one post from the Bangalore ISKCON, and incidentally, in fact, I recall, in fact, because I was advised by one of the senior devotees here in temple, so I mentioned this was from Bangalore ISKCON, and Radha Prabhu corrected me, and he was very right, because that was the appropriate behavior that is expected from anybody.
Yeah, and like I quote Shivani Didi because I don't follow her philosophy when it comes to the other aspect of God and relationship with God, but her points from psychological point of view are very good, very relevant. That's why I like her examples.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is, as you said, it's recorded. I hope I don't get into trouble.
No,
But
these are
I like her examples, the way she presents. I like that. So
that
there's
kind
nothing
of
wrong
helps
with
us,
that.
no? And that kind of
Nothing
helps
wrong
us
with
get different perspective also, and the examples are so simple. The way you explained
that.
about the doctor philosophy and all those. In fact, I because I have with kids, so in fact, Mosmi Mataji, if you allow me to, then you are an instructor, you would know it better than us when you instruct yoga. In fact, the way you are flexible when you were instructing our kids, they were not even able to do anything. And if you ask me, I'll injure myself. So in fact, the
Yeah,
example
same thing.
is
Yeah, I have given this example also once.
yes.
So we can only do whatever we can. That's all. So, well, it's getting a little late now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you all very much. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Enjoy
Hare
your
Krishna.
Jagannath Rath Yatra,
Hare
whoever is going there.
Krishna. Danvat
Hare
Pranam.
Just please put on a mask before you go there. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri
Jai
Prabhupada.
Shri